So, yeah, with that, let's talk about what we're going to be talking about tonight. And again, I just wanted to take some time to figure out and realize what Brandon Beane has done with this team. Because after the draft, I said this, and I think a lot of people shared these same sentiments where you said, okay, that was a solid draft, but the Bills still don't have an edge rusher. They didn't get a defensive tackle, and they didn't get a right tackle. And taking it a step further, we wanted that edge rusher to help when Von Miller was out. And even when he's healthy, you say, well, behind Von, what do the Bills really have? Because no one really stepped up in the playoffs last year. And now the Buffalo News came out with that report today at the Von Miller Pass Summit that Von is saying that he is healthy and he thinks he can avoid the pup list. So that is great news. But again, Von Miller is always Mr. Optimistic. So take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully he'll be back ready to go. But that was one of the big areas that we were saying, regardless whether he's ready to go week one or not, you want to get another edge rusher to help with Groot and Shaq Lawson and Boogie Basham and AJ Epinesa. The Bills also didn't have a defensive tackle signed past this season. And then going over to the offensive line, you wanted to get some insurance for Spencer Brown after his shaky season last year. And I know he battled through those injuries early on, pretty much during this time last year, during mini camps and training camp. And according to Brandon Beane and the rest of the reporters, he was just never really able to get on track. And he was almost kind of rushed into the season where he didn't have that full off season to train. So we wanted them to get more insurance, but coming out of that draft, no right tackle, no defensive end, no defensive tackle. So you're like, okay, what's going on here? But then Brandon Beane signs Poona Ford. And we're like, okay, where did that come from? And then they get Leonard Floyd right after we logged off last week. Like Zach said in the tweet, death, taxes, and Brandon Beane signing someone that we talk about the night before. And we didn't really talk about Leonard Floyd, but we did talk about maybe using the money that they created from extending Ed Oliver. That was another move that was in there. But maybe they can use some of that money to go sign someone else. And that someone else ended up being Leonard Floyd. So that was a great signing. They also signed Brandon Shell, the right tackle from the Dolphins. They got Cameron Dantzler, the cornerback from Minnesota. And let's not forget Latavius Murray. And that is a very sneaky one because Latavius Murray is that power back. And the Bills running back room was already set for the most part. Damian Harris was that power back, but Damian Harris has dealt with a lot of soft tissue injuries over his career. And if he pulls a hammy or something, now you have that insurance. You have Latavius Murray to come in and be that power back. And he's been pretty durable over his career. Speaking of insurance, that's why I like the Brandon Shell signing so much, a veteran to help out with Spencer Brown, where you're not saying, okay, Spencer, your time is up. We drafted Darnell Wright in round one. And obviously the Bears took him very early. I'm just giving an example. The Bills didn't take a right tackle early. That wasn't an indictment on Spencer Brown. That was a vote of confidence where the Bills said, hey, you're still our guy. We drafted you relatively high. We know that you didn't have the best season last year, but that's why we go out and get a 30-year-old veteran or however old he is. But he is going to push you along, and he's that depth and competition. Same thing with Cameron Dantzler. Now, I don't know exactly what happened with that situation, but he was very promising, a third-round draft pick by Minnesota back in 2020, and I think they just wanted a fresh start because with this new regime, they're getting rid of Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen. I talked to Harrison about that today too. I said, you lose Adam Thielen, but you draft Jordan Addison, so you're really not falling off that much. And he was like, yeah, man, like it's pretty solid. I should have asked him about Dantzler though, but like I said, it was during the final round of the bocce tournament, so I didn't really have too much time. I did get a picture with all these guys though, so again, make sure to follow me on Twitter here and Instagram. I'll be posting those either tonight or tomorrow based on how late the show goes. But yeah, back to Cameron Dantzler. For whatever reason, it just didn't work out. And that could be another sneaky signing for the Bills where you're thinking similar with the running back room. That corner room is already set with a healthy Trey White, a healthy Kyer Elam. You have Dane Jackson back. You have Christian Benford that's back healthy. I mean, those are four really good corners right there. So you're kind of already set as it is, but now you add Dantzler, as that fifth outside corner, not even to mention the inside corners and guys like Cam Lewis and Saran Neal who have that inside outside versatility. But that is that depth and competition that we didn't necessarily need, but we wanted. Like I said, the three that we pretty much needed were Leonard Floyd, Puna Ford, and Brandon Shell. Those are the three positions that a lot of us thought was a need going into the season. And the running back in the corner, that's kind of an accessory. But overall, I am really happy with what Brandon Beane did with this roster over the last few weeks. So with that, I'm going to bring Zach on as soon as he is ready to go, and then we'll bring Bryce on in a little bit. While I'm bringing Zach on, I'm going to go through the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything in here.